Hey, everybody, good morning and welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Watch what's going to happen right here as I just, boom, right there. There's
Hey, good
my
morning.
man, Ash Wade is in the house. Ash, how you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Uh-oh. I don't have you. I don't have you on the audio. And yet, is there I've got the three pod buttons are up, but I don't have you.
The Black Magic?
No clue. No sound over here from you. Hang on a second. Are you there?
I'm here. Are you there? Oh, they can hear me. Daniel White says he can hear me.
I can't hear you at all. Maybe you should call me on the phone.
Put your headphone connection.
Can't hear you. Call me on the phone. Can't hear you. So you're missing it. Okay. I'm telling you in English, and I know you can hear me. So now Lisa says she can hear both of us, but I can't hear you, so that ain't gonna work. You there?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm going to this mic for a minute so I don't hear that.
Okay. People, Lisa Poole says she can hear us both, but I have to be able to hear you, and I can't.
Take your headphone jack and plug it into the headphone jack in the soundboard. I meant to do that before I left.
There's a lot of holes over there, Ash.
It says phones. It's on the right-hand side of the board. Far right, it says phones.
All right, folks, you just either bear with us or go listen to pop music. Hang on a second.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we couldn't figure this out before we went on the air because we weren't on the air. It sounded pretty good. I'll do the Wade and Carter weather since they can hear me. Wade and Carter, what's the great today to deal with hay feed and ranch services? Where it is currently 78 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of 98. And does things there's fog in the trying to get this sorted out. There.
Is that better? No, I just can't hear you. I can't operate this way. So you talk to people.
I don't get how you can't hear. Nothing changed. I think there was an echo. I don't think there is now. And I think that's because I had the phone open as well. Bear with us. Well, I'll jump into things, at least try to get going here. But most of you know sad news over the weekend with the passing of brother Gary.
I have nothing.
And
now Monica says they can hear us both, and that's great because I should be clear. I can read y'all's comments, and y'all can hear what Ash says, but I can't hear what Ash says, and that's not a show. So I don't know where to put these headphones, and you hung up, so I don't know who to talk to.
Well, hi, Mom. I had to hang up because there was an echo.
I may just let you have it and go home because I've got nothing.
Well, let me call you. Well, no, because there'll be an echo on your end, so that ain't gonna work. I don't know what's going on.
How about I'll just do this while you either text me or call me back. The Wade and Carter weather is brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. For everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. It's 76 degrees under sunny skies in Victoria, Texas. Heading to a high today of 95. It's sunny all day, all the way across the board. I don't see any place over there in those letters that are 1/32 of an inch tall that say anything about headphones. And my headphones are plugged back in the hole they were in, and there isn't Corey Wagachow with the Canadian strategy of just try every hole. That sounds like something I'll just let lay there.
I will call.
Lisa Poole comes in with the obvious. Victoria did lose a giant this past week in the form of Brother Gary Moses, 76. Clearly, that's not news. Anybody who's been alive in the Victoria region knows that Brother Gary Moses has passed. There will be services for him at the soon-to-be-named Brother Gary Moses Community Center on July the 29th, which would have been his 77th birthday. And yeah, Mom, so I sound okay to you, and Ash sounds okay to you, but I can't hear Ash at all. And I don't know what to do with that. It might even be better if Ash just called me and I did away with the video and we just had the show the way or we could leave him on the video. I don't care. But we just need to.
Well, maybe. Hang on. Let's try that in a minute. Let me do this. Let me mute my microphone and I'll call you and see.
This is just a technical growing pain. It's not a big deal. There was a time I actually enjoyed this part of the garbage. This is not one of those times. Let's see. Okay, there you are, and I can hear you, and I'm assuming our studio audience can hear you. You just have to kill the mic.
Is that better?
You have to kill the mic on your laptop, or you're going to echo.
I did kill the mic, but I got to kill my speakers too.
All right, let's do that.
There we go. I can hear you now.
Okay, and you're great. Scott Tunker says, I could really razz Brent right now, but I don't think he's in the mood. That would definitely get you the potential of some chin music. I love Heather Stewart saying, he's calling you now, because you must have said, I'm calling you now. No, it's a team game, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It's stressful. I don't like technical difficulties. I don't like technical things. I want to flip a switch. I want the crap to work. That's the way I want it to be. And I'll throw in this fact for you. I didn't get to bed last night until about 1 o'clock in the morning. Coming in from Houston, I'm just not in the mood for technical growth opportunities. So
I think everything's sounding good now.
It does.
You
look great.
We look good.
Yeah, I feel good.
I shaved.
Did you? You dare I say look somewhat Native American.
So probably the worst news that I think I could have heard over the weekend was yesterday getting the news that Brother Gary passed yesterday morning. And for those of you not in Victoria, but watch the show regularly, the Brother Man was on every Friday, sometimes on Thursdays, but more than that, he was a good friend. He was a very caring individual, probably the most liked man in the world, let alone Victoria. I don't know anybody that ever had a bad thing to say about the Brother Man. I came across a picture of him and me probably from 1998. We were doing a photo op back when the Advocate actually cared about things in the community, and it was promoting a food drive for the food bank. And the Brother Man was there. I was in there. My daughter Aston, because she was with me and she was just a baby, she was in the picture. And that's I met Brother Gary probably back in around 1998. I just started working in radio full time in Victoria, and he's one of the very first people I met. And we became like brothers. And it's going to be a tough loss for all of us who are close to him, but it's going to be a tough loss for the Victoria community because no event was official until the Brother Man showed up.
Yeah, I see Matt Boucher checking in, and the Brother Man used to joke with Matt that he was jealous because people would rather listen to Matt Boucher than listen to him. The Brother Man, I go way back to when Gary was just a young school teacher, Patty Welder, and was trying to make an extra buck in the summer, running what they called the summer recreation program. And
yeah, he was like the parks. He was like the first Parks and Rec director, but it was a part-time gig at the time.
Yeah, you know, he would meet over there at the old field house at by Memorial Stadium, and it was summertime. You know, I'd ride my bike over there. I'd help him throw the doors open, the big garage doors. And after a while, he allowed me to do that all by myself. So I did the garage doors.
Yeah, because he didn't have to be there so early.
Go ahead, Brent, get it started. And yeah, I was the unpaid assistant to the stipend assisted Brother Gary. But you know, a friendship grew, and he was always a mentor. We stayed in touch during the 30 years that I was blessed to live other places. And when I came back, we picked up right where we left off. And brother would always say, "How many times you ever say, Ash, just be nice, just be nice."
Yep.
You know, he just he got it.
Yeah, he probably could have been mayor, but then he would have had to probably make somebody mad or disappoint maybe not make him mad. He would have disappointed somebody, and that would have killed him to disappoint somebody, because he would have had to make a decision that wasn't for the best of everybody. And that's what the brother man could make everybody feel warm, welcome, invited,
important,
loved and important. And I think if he would have had to have been mayor, some of that would have had to go away. And I think he realized that and didn't want that. He knew he had a bigger role in Victoria than any political office could have ever.
That's right.
And it would have reined him in.
He's where I got the joke. You know, I'm glad I'm not mayor because I couldn't take the power cut. And that's kind of sums Gary up. He got things done behind the scenes, but always with kindness. A very, very influential gentleman, was looked at by a lot of people to be the peacemaker in different situations. But I go back to when I was a little bitty guy. He worked at Dick's over at Laurent and Crestwood. There you go. Torn Bell says he made every person feel like they were his best friend, and that's right. And Scott Tomko, you're correct. Absolutely. He'll be remembered more than any mayor would be. That's right.
Well, and the city did him wrong. You know, and it took a long time, I think, for those feelings to go away. But when they finally hired a full-time Parks and Rec director, they basically shoved the brother man out of any involvement with the city, and that was wrong on the city's part. And, you know, and I don't know all the, you know, the back channels and stories, but I know that hurt him because we talked about it. He never said a bad word about anybody there.
Yeah, he will never.
But I know him. But his lack of involvement hurt him because he liked to be involved. The old street dances wouldn't have been the street dances without the brother man being there to introduce the bands.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much people realize that he coordinated those things, negotiated the contracts, got them to commit to come. All the concerts you went through the years down on the town square, everything from getting the trailer lined out to getting it set up. I mean,
he had a lot of connections with David Hartman and Hartman Distributing, and worked a lot of that stuff. I mean,
yeah, David's going to be lost without him. That's David's just buddy.
Yeah, and you know, it was funny. Like, there were times when I needed a sound system for stuff in the early days of athletics, and I would call the brother man, and he knew somebody who knew somebody if he didn't know somebody directly, and I would have a sound system set up at that event that was perfect for the size of the venue or whatever we were doing. He had so many connections, and nobody ever told him no.
No, that's right.
You couldn't tell the brother man no.
No, and he was probably calling our buddy Ralph Salazar, the Hall of Famer over at Magic 95.9, to get that sound system or that whatever you need. And you know, the brother man would call me and go, son, you need to be here tonight. You know, there's going to be this and this. You need to be here. These are your people. You need to be here. And truly a community servant in the purest sense, because what he did was often, most of the time, not with any type of remuneration. He just he was super busy. So, until the very end, too, asking about all of you. Every time I would talk to him, he was like, "How are your listeners? How's everybody? Tell everybody we said hi." Yep, no doubt. Fine gentleman. He will deeply be missed.
And the nonprofits in this community will miss him, because brother had access to every single radio and television vehicle that existed in Victoria and could promote your event. As long as it was, as long as it was for a good cause, he would promote it, and you got a lot of free mileage from the brother man jumping on board.
You got to wonder, and not from a succession position or anything, but just as a natural evolution of service, you have to wonder who in the wings will pick up his slack. I mean, I don't think any one person can fill those shoes, because you'd almost need to be retired and have plenty of time, because you have to understand. I mean, I've looked at Gary's schedule with you, Ash, and you just stand there and he's like, well, I've got to be here at 9. I got to go by the VDEC meeting. And then I've got to be here for breakfast with the judge, coffee with the judge. Then I've got to go there. And then I'm doing the parade. And then I've got a Kinsey. And then there's a wedding they want me to come by. And I'm like,
when I first met him, he would show up with a note card about the size of those old 4x6 note cards, the recipe cards,
yep,
used to call them. And everything that he had to do was written on one card, both sides, for the week. Right. And his writing was so small. It was like he was a spy.
It looked like your cheat sheet in Algebra 2 in high school.
We're not supposed to talk about that.
Right.
But that's what it looked like. It did look like a cheat sheet. And as time went on, his eyesight wasn't as good. And I used to joke with him before the show, how he used to have 3x5 and 4x6 note cards, and now he's got an 8x11 piece of paper. But but it's still both sides were always full, and that just showed you how involved he was in everything. I don't know that there's anybody that can pick up his slack, fill his shoes, and is as recognizable an individual.
That's right.
As Brother Gary. And it wasn't just Victoria. I mean, he was integral in Goliad, Cuero, Hallettsville, Yoakum, Port Lavaca.
He basically dominated the No Bull network. Now, there's a motion afoot here that I'm keen to. John Paul Hull, and good morning, brother, says you cannot fill those shoes. If there was ever a statue to be built, and Junior Sample says, I would donate to that. Let me tell you, I see the statue. I have seen the statue. You and I have talked about it. It's the brother man in mid-stride. I can see it. One Baroque shoe on the ground. The right foot is up. His right hand is extended to shake someone's hand, and his tie is kind of blowing over his left shoulder, just emphasizing that he's in perpetual motion. And I just think I can see it as plain as day, because I saw the man that way so many times, walking towards someone, engaging, a big smile, his head a little bit cocked to the right, his tie blowing over his shoulder, and he's got his hand extended. And it would be welcoming people to Victoria. I guess that statue would most aptly be positioned out in front of the Gary Moses Community Center, and that would be great. But I would love to be a part of that project, and I have no doubt that Wade and Carter could help raise the money to do so. It's early for that. There will be a time for that. But for now, that's right, Scott Tomko, 100%, not a wrinkle in his shirt. I think I saw him dressed in a polo shirt one time. That was it. But he had a blue blazer on, right? You went by his house? No, he had just a polo shirt on and his slacks. But he was also a throwback to that era of gentlemen, when gentlemen dressed like gentlemen. Well, he was a close friend of Melvin Dusick and Marvin O'Neill. Dressed him for decades at Melvin's Menswear here in Victoria. So
Always wore slacks, always wore a shirt, always wore a tie, always had a blazer. And on the weekends, he stopped wearing a tie because it was the weekend. But during the week, never
Always
saw him without a tie and always a crisp white shirt.
That's right. He looked sharp. Yeah, his idea of branching out was a blue button down. John Anderson says, without his mustache, Ash sort of resembles Robin Williams in his younger years. The key phrase there is younger years. I mean, Robin Williams died well before he was your age. So, and you look like, when you're without a mustache, you look like Corey.
I didn't have a mustache. I just finally shaved everything. It was kind of, but I guess, it was probably pretty gray. You couldn't see the rest of it.
Yeah.
But
Frank Mejia, good morning.
The brother man was just a treasure, and he will be missed, and
he will not be forgotten.
And to be honest, and to be honest, he has been missed, because every event that's gone on since he, since his health took a turn for the worst, has not been the same without him there.
No, that's right. I don't know. Given that no one can fill those shoes, I don't know who will step up and do those roles. I don't know who to expect going forward, emceeing, some of the mundane ridiculousness that the gentleman got dragged into.
And here's the thing. He knew so many people. If you were at the Warriors weekend events and he was emceeing them, he basically named everybody that walked through that door.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one challenge of the event. I think it's from 3 to 7, something like that on the 29th. I do think there's going to be some space constraints, and we'll deal more with that as we get closer. You want to let me take a break real quick?
Sure.
I'm going to send you to the green room, and you chime in anytime you want on the break. So I can do that and tell you, folks, Veracruz Restaurant welcoming you back in today. It's Monday. Go in for the freshest guacamole, the creamiest queso, the best hot sauce, and warm chips. Veracruz is the gold standard of Tex-Mex in our community. Jalisco-style Mexican food. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. I came by Allen's yard last night about 12:30. Now, Ash, you do know we can still hear you making your coffee, right? Allen's Wrecker Service is there. No vehicles in the yard. They were out on patrol. They were all out there trying to make things work. I think I'm going to mute him. No, he's loud. USA Concrete Coatings and USA Foundation Repair. If your house leans, if your doors won't close, if there's cracks in your sheetrock, especially if you're on a pier and beam home, it's an easy fix. They can jack it up, shim it up, and straighten it up. You will.
And the best part is they'll come and give you a free estimate.
Absolutely. 578 Home. Went Services for all your electrical needs. Let Went help you with a drop-down plug or a new breaker box, or I'm going to have them come out to the house. My main breaker box on the side of my house is leaning, and I don't know if it's going to be best to replace the whole box or just short it back up. Cody Bauman said put something in the wall and just stick it back up there, some super glue or something. What's that? What's that stuff that you make a boat out of a screen door? Maybe that's a
Flex Seal.
Yeah. Paravita Wellness and the Vita Cafe.
Just duct tape it.
That's it. Two-sided. Come on in to Paravita today and get healthy. And then here at the offices at 205, we're right above Greek's 205 restaurant, and 207, the event room. Come on, people say, how do I get to y'all? So where Greek's is? Well, of course. I go, we're right upstairs. And I go, come through the only open door. People don't get that sometimes at 6:30 in the morning. But the office is at 205. Beautiful facility provided by James Geets and John Paul Hull. And you folks should come by. There are a couple of suites available. It's a great deal. It's a turnkey. It's already got the internet, electricity, air conditioning, clean bathrooms, a lobby that has a great reception area. If you have somebody come and you want them to sit and they watch TV, we've got cable. Come on by. They can binge. They can lay on the sofa and watch Netflix while they wait for their appointment. So I come back here like this and I say hi to everybody. Welcome back to the Atzenhofer studio, where for over 100 years, Atzenhofer has been Victoria's dealership. And Torrin Bell says, Brother Gary was the only person I ever knew that was never in a bad mood. There you go. That's fair, you know. I did.
Frank, no, can't do it, Frank.
No, I
There's
can't
no
do
way
it. There's no way to fill his shoes. No way.
No,
I just don't have time. You know, and so much of what he just did for free. That's crazy.
Yeah. You and I aren't in that position yet.
No, I'm not in that spot. You know? Speaking of not being in that spot, the Astros now, 47-54, whatever they are. The Astros suck. And I don't know, and you and I hope we disagree. I'm
getting swept by the Orioles,
who suck as well. And I'm just not ready to completely abandon ship, but I was wrong. The Astros update brought to you by the First State Bank of Louise, the friendliest bank anywhere, inviting you to come in for free checking, free savings. You don't have to wait like if an Astro hits a home run, you get a free checking account. No, you get one just for showing up. Yordan Alvarez is solidly in second place in every offensive category that matters to the Triple Crown, but the Astros are not winning. And I don't know,
Nope.
It's too easy, it's too common, it's too predictable to say, well, they need a managerial change. I don't know that taking Joe Espada out of the mix and say putting you or me or us in that role, if that would inject something into their arms or not. But the reality is, one of the sad truths of sports is when teams lose, coaches transition. And it's like, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying I'm going to blame you. Altuve's under contract. I can't blame him. I got to blame you, Joe.
No. And everybody agreed that was the right move based on Altuve's importance to the Astros over time. But they're saddled with a bad contract and a player that is not the player that he was.
And I'm not complaining about that. The man earned his money. He was on back-to-back 100-loss teams and then has won, 3 World Series? He is
stuck it out, never asked for a trade, never wanted to go anywhere else.
That's right.
Underpaid, took hometown discounts so they could stay within that winning window.
And he's not really an everyday second baseman anymore. And I'm not sure that.
And he's not. And with the Yordan Alvarez, he's not the DH. No.
Yeah. Patrick Strauss sums it up. It would be okay if Jose Altuve was just kind of neutral, but he's becoming a liability. Yeah. JP Hull said that he was in Rockport and someone unprovoked was talking about what a great bank First State Bank of Louise is. That's good.
Yeah, they really are.
The mystique is growing. New location in Shiner. Yeah. No, but I look at it, Ash, and so that aside.
They get swept by the Orioles over the weekend, coming off the All-Star break.
But they're still only 4 games back, even though they've lost 4 in a row. So Jonathan Williams, and who I rarely argue with because, frankly, he's smarter than me, he says Dana Brown has failed on a lot of acquisitions and decisions. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to tell you that although I wasn't a fan, I can remember saying to you, Ash, if we can only keep one, Tucker or Bregman, we've got to keep Tucker because he's younger and this and that. I was wrong. Getting rid of Tucker and Bregman was genius. And Isaac Paredes is a better glove at third and to me is a better player right now than Alex Bregman. And to his credit, Kyle Tucker, he's still looking for his first hit ever in October, and he hasn't done a thing since he left us. He makes a ton of money to do nothing.
Here's the problem with the Astros in some ways. And I don't blame Dana Brown completely, but I think they put too much pressure on Cam Smith early. Instead of sending him to AA or AAA, they brought him up, and I think that's hurt him. And he may never, ever recover from that.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you where I disagree with that. When I was at Texas, I can remember going to what at the time was called the Superdome to giggle and chuckle at of course, at that time, Texas, they had LaSalle Thompson. That's some good players. Carlton Cooper, Mike Wacker, that's some good players. And the University of Houston was coming to town, and we went to laugh at a young guy named Olajuwon. And he was a former soccer goalie. He was almost 6'11", gangly, more than somewhat, an extremely raw player. But when I left that game that night, I had no way, nobody could have forecast that he was going to become one of the most effective big men ever in the history of the NBA. But I left there and said, that guy is a freak athlete. Well, I'm going to tell you, Cam Smith is a freak athlete. That guy, although he may never bat more than 260, he's a guy that might hit 40 bombs in a year. And I
don't see it right now.
Oh, let me tell you, though, that guy has made some amazing catches in right for a guy that was an infielder 2 years ago on a college team.
I'm not arguing about his defense, but he was revered for his bat, and his bat is languishing. And
so don't you figure his bat may come around? I mean, maybe he'll catch up. And if he doesn't,
I think his offensive confidence is shot, and that's what happens when you rush a guy. The other thing is, and I've said this for a long time, they put too much stock in Jake Myers and Chas McCormick, who are a little bit above average major leaguers, but they're not the cornerstones of your outfield. These are guys that overproduced for a few years, and they thought they would get that kind of production all the time. And that's where Dana Brown miscalculated. They should have moved those two guys when they were at the height of their popularity / productivity and gotten something in return, because you can find a Chas McCormick and a Jake Myers on the free agent wire every single summer or winter. And
Jonathan Williams says Tucker was the right choice at the time. He says Bregman, we got nothing for like we did Tuck. But Bregman we got rid of. That's what we need to do with Bregman.
And I think the thing with Bregman is he meant more to the team as a team player and a team leader.
Yeah.
But you can't continue to win by paying guys who are slowing down in productivity just because they mean a lot to your team.
Yeah,
you have to move on at some point.
And Dana Brown's never been the guy to say, I told you so. I told you so. But the reality is, Bregman, while revered and a solid anchor at third base, is no Isaac Paredes. And at the same time, he got greedy. Rather than be a guy like Altuve, who, in all fairness, is like just glad to be here. The Bregman deal, Bregman came along and got to ride the wave and built his brand and built who he was. And then he parlayed all that into a big contract, or took a year with Boston, opted out, and took big money where? Where's he at? The Cubs?
Yeah.
I don't see. I mean, where is he? The Cubs. And where's Tucker's with the Dodgers?
I believe so.
I mean, meh. You never hear him again. You won't hear of him again. Houston does things for their players that no other team can do. I don't know.
And the one thing you can't blame Dana Brown for are all the injuries that our pitchers have had. You can't foresee that.
Yesterday, Hunter Brown gave up 6 walks, his worst control outing from that perspective ever. It's interesting. At times, he was visibly, very rare for Hunter Brown to show much emotion, visibly upset at the fact that he just could not throw his 4-seam fastball where he wanted it to go. He could not will it to where he wanted it to go and was visibly upset. Yordan Alvarez hit a ball to the left side that he clearly missed and was extremely demonstrative, just threw his bat down on the way to first. And I'm starting to wonder if this mediocrity throughout the season is starting to weigh on some of these players. And I keep clinging to the fact that if you can just catch a little bit, just not lightning, just catch static electricity in a bottle, you could still win this division. And if somehow Blanco comes back and does okay, if, and we got rid of McCullers, which I think is a great move no matter what. And then you get Brown untracked, you get Arrigetti's head out of his butt. The next thing you know, you're in the playoffs where the Astros are at home. And once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen.
The problem with the Astros right now, they're a better team on the road the last couple of years than they have been at home.
Well, they can't use the drum anymore. Patrick Strauss says the Astros got 8 walks Friday and scored 2 runs. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to take advantage of that, especially a team like the Orioles who came in as, roughly where the Astros were. But again, 4 games back, just after the All-Star break, pretty good position in the weakest division.
What are we now, 7 or 8 back?
No, just 4 games back.
We're still just 4 games back now. The reality is, honestly, 4 games back with 60 games to play is not a big deal. It's not. You've still got a couple of head-to-heads with those guys. The Mariners lost yesterday too, I think.
Yeah, and the Rangers and Blanco's on the mound tonight against Miami. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, Ronell needs to play well. A third U.S. soldier was killed this week. He was trying to disarm a drone, Iranian drone. I believe 9 straight days, the Trump administration has unleashed Operation Epic Fury 2.0, 3.0 onto Iran. I look for that to intensify. You're going to start seeing more hard targets hit, things like power plants, infrastructure. I realize that every soldier is someone's child. I'm thankful and prayerful that none of my kids end up having to be in war. So I'm not in any way emotionally flippant when I say to you, we've only lost 17 confirmed military people during this entire quote unquote war. And 6 of them went down on a refueling airplane that was just an American military hazard. It could have happened anywhere in the world on any day of the week. It just happened. It had nothing to do with the war. So you look at it, what I'm saying is overnight, Russia launched guided missiles into Kyiv, and at least already reported 12 Ukrainians died. So I'm not being flippant about the loss of American life, and I'm not asking you to use relative loss as a way to measure the efficacy of the project. But in the sad, hard truth of war, it's not going badly. A lot more Iranians have died than Americans, if you want to keep score that way.
The U.S. apparently attacked an under-construction nuclear power plant early this morning. The IAEA, which kind of oversees these things globally, has not confirmed or commented on this yet. But the interesting thing is, Iranian leadership is now saying that diplomacy and war are over. And I think we bombed them for 9 straight days now.
And now they're taking the gloves off, huh?
Well, they're saying if this continues in the next 2 to 3 days, we will enter the stage of full-scale invasion and annihilation.
Of what?
So
Lebanon?
Listen, Mohsen Razi, who I think I'm pronouncing that right, he's the supreme leader. He says no political border will provide security against Iran's offensive forces.
Yeah, because they're terrorists. Is what they do.
So what are they gonna do? And he's saying that they're like, what is a full scale invasion? Are they gonna come over here and invade the U.S.?
I hope so. Get over here and die quickly for your country. I just don't get it. There is a propaganda-driven regime that's trying to tell the Iranian people. Remember that scene in, what was it, Airplane, when the guy's like, relax. Remember in Animal House, all is well. Do not pay.
Well, what's also interesting is Iran is calling for, saying it's a violation of humanitarian law that the U.S. bombed an under construction nuclear power plant. So it's not delivering power to anybody, but somehow, yet Iran apparently has attacked a desalination plant in Kuwait, which provides clean drinking water to the Kuwaitis. They've now done it twice, and somehow this is not a humanitarian law violation.
Yeah. Kathleen Leininger adds, I strongly feel that every one of our soldiers need to come home. We have no reason to be fighting Israel's wars for them. I echo that by saying that as far as I know, we have no boots on the ground, no soldiers to come home. And I'm not so sure this is Israel's war because they have a tendency to chant death to America, death to America. At the same time, here in our country, we bend over backwards to elect Muslim, radical Islamic people that decide they want to run for office. That's the new trend. That's what the left has embraced, the Democrat socialist agenda. I listened over the weekend to a representative from the Woodlands, Ash. He's a state rep. His name is Steve Toth, T-O-T-H. He's running for an open District 2 congressional seat to be a peer of Michael Cloud out of the Woodlands. He's a former pastor, associate pastor at the Woodlands Church, and of all things, he owns a pool company in the Woodlands. Probably not a bad place to have one. The ground is soft, and the per capita income is not. I'm going to do what I can to get him on the program in the next couple of days, but listening to him talk about James Tallarico the other day, I was on a Breitbart station early in the morning. We were driving on Saturday, and he talked about the reason he caught my ear was he was talking about Senator Lois Kolkhorst, and that she had proposed a bill in the Senate that basically prohibited Chinese nationals from owning Texas farmland. That was the big deal, which by the way, it's like, raise your hand if you don't think the Chinese ought to be buying up our land. I'm all for that.
Which I thought we passed this last legislature.
We did. The best that Lois could get through the Senate was that you could do a 99-year ground lease, but you couldn't own it. So when it got to the House, Steve Toth and some others said, well, let's just go ahead and amend that to say you can lease it for 1 year at a time, but you can't lease it for 99 years. It's 1 year at a time. And James Tallarico, of course, voted against that. And Toth was livid. He just said that every amendment that they made to Lois's bill that would have made it passable, that Tallarico voted against. And he said,
well, my question is, how many state senators have farmland that are looking at 99-year leases with the Chinese that they wouldn't do anything less than that?
Right. I mean,
or friends of senators.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. So,
it certainly does.
You look at it and
maybe I'm jaded.
Well, I think rightfully so, right? I think experience. What is it? Most wisdom comes from experience, and usually from bad experience. Yeah. So, now speaking of bad experience, you see where the Trump administration reaffirming that you can't come here as a legal immigrant and expect a handout from the government, which is the way it's always been. The Irish, when those people came here and lived in the boroughs of New York, and that's how the reason that things got, the Irish are over there and the Jews are over here and the Puerto Ricans are over there is because family and friends took care of each other. There wasn't, here's your cell phone and here's your apartment downtown and all these things that the government hands out to people that come in from third world countries, that when you get things handed to you, then you start to vote for those things, perpetuating, and then those things become entitlements. And the next thing you know, nobody works and everybody gets everything for free. And it just
when I immigrated here legally, we had to sign a statement that said we will not accept any government services at all or be subject to deportation as legal immigrants.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be happening, but yet you come in here illegally. And the joke then 30 years ago was, Well, you came through the wrong border. If we would just have come in illegally, we would have been fine, and we could have probably got every government service and waited 20 years and got a free cell phone.
So quick aside for you, Peter McNally sent me something this week that I did take the time to read up on, but the Saudis have an initiative called Saudi 2030. And what their goal has been, a lot of those Middle Eastern countries are kind of nationalistic. They kind of stay to themselves. The Saudis are wanting to broaden their economic reach. They're wanting to diversify their relationships on everything from national security to trade. And the Prime Minister of Canada, for the first time in 26 years, went to Saudi Arabia last week and had an extensive meeting with, it's always, you find the guy with the biggest teepee, what's it called? He's the Supreme Most High, Your Highness, the Royal Prince, whatever the guy's name is of the week. And at the end, they tried to play that off as like, look, man, Canada is strengthening their position to move away from kind of being under America's wing, and they're also showing that they can be a global player. I read some on the Saudi 2030
as the Canadian dollar falls to a 26-year low against the U.S. dollar and continues to weaken because Canada has completely abandoned its largest trading partner in the U.S.
Right. So they're trying to find a way to make up for it, and it could take years to do so. I do think we're seeing some capitalistic. It's just one of the trade-offs of having capitalism. I think it's unfortunate that I believe the oil companies are kind of sticking it to us right now for their earnings. It's like somebody sinks a tanker in the Strait of Hormuz and gas prices here jump 50 cents. It's not cause and effect. It's not realistic. And I'm not proud of it. I think but
butter's down.
Yeah, true. For the last 2 years, ice cream has averaged $6.26 a half gallon. That's over the last 2 years. And it is now down on average below $6 a gallon, in large part due to the decrease in the price of butter.
Yeah.
So let's take another break. I'm going to put you in timeout. Nobody puts a baby in the corner. And tell you about White Wing Materials. If you need fill dirt, sand, all types of aggregate, from the finest silica sand, the cleanest sand, super. It's the greatest ever. 2 years ago, we were dead on aggregate. Now we dominate the world. White Wing Materials is there for you with all the way to clean top soil. Chesnick Furniture inviting you in for, wait for it, folks, sofas, love seats, furniture, appliances, and all the
accoutrements.
There you have it. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Come in this week and support 7 local charities. Palace Bingo giving away, paying the winners $500,000 a week. Is it a week or a month, Ash? A week? I think it's a
month.
A month.
No, maybe it is.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Palace Bingo inviting you to the L&L Grill to have a great, great time. So you got that going on. Did we miss anybody? I want to get a follow-up. Clayton, we just gave a big shout-out to White Wing Materials, and I want to get somebody back in, maybe Michael Guajardo, to talk about the card show this past weekend. I want to see how that went, if it went well. I'm sure it did. The buildup was big. It was good. So there you go.
I know there's a tropical depression that yesterday was actually a tropical storm, and it's weakened a little bit, or at least the forecast has weakened. That was expected to kind of move into the northeastern Gulf and then make landfall either Mississippi, Louisiana, and kind of continue to move westward across land, but not far enough off the coast to weaken. But now they're saying it looks like it'll be tropical depression strength when it hits just north of Victoria. So,
which just means more rain. At the end of the day, if it wasn't for, I guess, our version of the perfect storm, if it wasn't for a tropical storm that turned into Hurricane Harvey, if it wasn't for that, this would be a mere blip on our radar where we talked about you can expect some rains in Victoria. I do find it interesting, and Ash, I want your gut check response to this. There are people now blaming the Republican regime in Austin, starting with, and I guess it's an election year, Gina Hinojosa running as the Democrat nominee for governor. But they're just saying there have been 5 natural disasters in the last blah, 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 and they all happened on the Republicans' watch. And I'm like, sorry, do we somehow want to blame Greg Abbott? I'm open for it. I'm not opposed to blaming Abbott for all kinds of things. But do you really want to blame Governor Abbott for Camp Mystic? I mean, where does the chain stop? They're saying there's the flooding in Uvalde. It's these dang Republicans. Well, I guess the Democrats control the rain. I don't know what you do. This is Texas. This is the wild, wild west. Things happen. Cities are in the way of nature.
Under the Democrats, they would have shut down Camp Mystic because it's a Christian camp and they don't believe in Christianity.
True story. I mean, at that level of stereotype, that's about what you got. I don't disagree.
I mean, if you're going to get that, if you're going to be that obtuse about blaming the governor for these things or the Republicans, then I'm going to be just as absurd the other way and tell you that the Democrats would take away your religious freedom and those camps wouldn't exist because they don't believe in Christianity. I mean, that's how absurd the argument is on both ends, right?
So you mean there's not a transgender cabin at Mystic?
Probably not.
I don't know, but you know what? It'd be a great place. You build it at the best location, right at the river's edge.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Camp Eagle got rescued. 325 campers rescued from Camp Eagle in Real County over the weekend. State troopers, who I guess are under the command of Governor Abbott,
yes,
assisting in that. So yeah, I guess Abbott just wants all children to die.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the Republicans. Absurd. That's what the Democrats would say. Know what they'll do now? Well, state resources were wasted rescuing those campers. That's where the Dems will throw this thing next. We could have fed homeless people with that. Yeah. No, one of our listeners says Democrats aren't Christians. Lovely. I think the proof's in the pudding. I don't think that in general. I put it this way.
Pay attention to the absurd analogy, Tammy.
Yeah, you can't.
You pick and choose. You pick and choose something, but you miss the context of the whole thing, and that's so typical of
the left.
Too many people who do that, and it tends to be the left. Yeah. So pay attention and keep up.
In general,
and I'm done addressing the lack of context and the garbage with that comment.
Yeah, in general, and I'll go ahead and expound upon it. In general, it is inconsistent with Christianity to be a Democrat. I'm sorry. Not an old Democrat. That used to come off as like compassion. You know, when LBJ was all about the whatever you want to call it, the New Deal, what do you call it? The Great Society. You argued that it was compassion, even though he said himself, we will have those N-ers voting for us for the next 100 years. It was all politics. It had nothing to do with caring about anybody. It was all about power, which is exactly where the Democrats reside today. Their embracement of the LGBTQ community, while I'm not here to judge, is not Christian. Their pro-choice agenda is not Christian. All of the issues that evolve around the 80-20 issues that the Democrats embrace are contra to godliness, which makes it so stark, Ash, when you've got a guy like James Tallarico that the Democrats try to run out in front of us now and say, well, what are you going to do now, Republicans? We found one of God's men to run against your guy. Paxton's a bad guy, and Tallarico's a Christian minister. It's the hypocrisy of the left, the opportunistic seeking of power, that to me makes them a godless bunch in total. There are individuals, Peter McNally, great example, fine gentleman, I believe a Christian man based on everything I've visited with him about, certainly not losing his salvation over being a modern Democrat, but you can't show me where what used to be able to say, JFK might have been able to say, I agree with MLK that all men are created equal. Nobody should be discriminated against because of their skin color. That's fairly biblical to me. Fairly biblical. But
look around North America and see who was in charge when they locked churches and kept them locked during COVID. Canada is still going after people who decided to sue the government for their overreach in COVID.
Right.
The government's being found at fault, and the government is appealing these rulings. The government has very rarely ever appealed rulings in Canada, except when it comes to COVID and those that protested the government. It's appalling, and it's very telling.
Right. No, I agree. So, yeah, we have people that miss the context by choice. It's what they want to do to be contrary, even though, again, 80-20 issue, and they're wrong. Yeah. We talked about the World Cup.
No, we haven't yet. Spain wins in a
snoozer.
Very snoozer compared to the third place game in which 10 goals were scored, and England won the third place game over France 6-4.
People said that was the most exciting, third place game ever.
It was the most exciting soccer game, I think, the World Cup. Well, maybe not, but it was one of them. But I think soccer could fix itself in a couple of ways.
Outlaw flopping.
I think, do that. Issue yellow card, because they have the video review now, right? So issue a yellow card if you dive in the field of play outside in between the 18-yard boxes. If you flop inside the 18-yard box and the video replay shows that you weren't touched, you're just diving, it's an automatic red card. That means you played a man down for the rest of the game, plus the other team that you flopped against gets the penalty kick against you. If you want to stop it, this is one way to do it.
Because games are often 1-0. Don't give me a penalty kick when you're a man down.
Yeah, and the other thing is, the most exciting part of these World Cup games are the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes. So let's shorten the game to 20 minutes and be done with it.
True story. You can at least make it an hour game. People, but you know what? It is hard. It's hard to get somebody to pay $150 to go for an hour.
Yeah, but it's only an hour and a half plus
that's 3 beers,
15 minutes at the half. But I think they need to get rid of the extra time.
What about marching
bands?
Run it.
Maybe stop the clock when a guy's down.
You know what? You want marching bands at halftime?
For as long as you're down, that's how long you have to go and sit off the field so your team plays down a man at that point. So if you're rolling around, regardless of unless a stretcher comes out to get you.
That would be the LeBron James commemorative stretcher. I think I read somewhere that Argentina, there you go, that they had no shots on goal. The goalie took the day off. He was overpaid.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they had one in the extra time, but you look at what the NFL did to address the fake injuries at the ends of games when teams were trying to milk or, stretch the clock or get stoppage time. Yeah, now they force you to go sit off a series. You lose a timeout.
Yeah.
They addressed it, and now it doesn't happen. Soccer needs to do the same. Because it's terrible.
At any rate, Spain wins. Yeah, there you go. 22-2 was the final shots on goal. Spain over Argentina.
And they win 1-0.
Yeah. And the last time they won the World Cup, they won 1-0. I believe that's right. Or maybe Argentina won the last one 1-0 and over. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nobody really cares. Andy Burnham, and now the new prime minister in the UK as of later today. Tomorrow's news today. Mr.
Interesting move. I don't think it doesn't change much other than the fact that Starmer's not popular and this guy may be more of a centrist, but I don't know.
There you go. John Anderson, July 29th here in Victoria. Usha Vance.
3-7 at the soon-to-be Brother Gary Moses Community Center.
Yep. Usha Vance, the wife of Vice President J.D. Vance, the second lady, if you will, the first second lady to give birth while in office or in, service in over 150 years. So they welcomed their, I think, fourth child. I'm not positive, but they had a kid. So there you go. Yes, Patrick, you are correct. Folks, we've reached the top of the hour. We love you all. Ash, it is the top of the hour. It flies by. Do not worry. Do not fret. Cody Bauman will be by here today, and we'll solve this problem, and we'll go from there. And I'll talk to you guys. We will talk to you folks tomorrow. Manana. How about that?
Bye, folks.
There you go, folks. Bye-bye.